Hi everyone. Today we will discuss how you can manage access to your workspaces in the Trango Compute Platform. The workspaces follow a role-based access control model, which means depending on your role, you can perform certain actions within the workspace. So when you create a new workspace, by default, you become the owner of that workspace. Then that means you can view, edit, share, or even delete the workspace. Next to that, there's the contributor role. And a contributor can basically do all the actions that the owner can, but they cannot share or delete the workspace. That means they can create or edit files or directories or Git repositories, anything that they want to do within the workspace, they can do that. The third role is the viewer. And by name, you can already imagine they can only view the content of the notebook, but not do anything else. So if you don't have any of these roles assigned on the workspace, then you will not even see the workspace in your UI or anywhere else. This is useful in case, for example, you have a team that is working on code on financial data, for example, and you don't want other teams within your organization to be able to see the code of the team that is working on sensitive financial data or even sensitive HR data. So that's why there's this default that no one can see the workspace unless they're explicitly assigned to it or if they create the workspace. The roles can be assigned to individual users directly if you want to, but the recommended approach is to assign it to groups. And one more important thing over here is that if you have groups already created in your directory, for example, Azure Active Directory or Okta directory, you can always sync them to the Trango Compute Platform using the SCIM API, because the Trango Compute Platform supports the syncing of users and groups using the SCIM API. Now let's head to a demo where I will show you the access control model of the workspace in action. So here I can see a workspace that I created earlier. I'm logged in as a user called Trango. This user is actually the creator and the owner of this workspace. You can see it over here. They're the only user who has any permission. I can also add permissions for other users or groups over here if I wanted to. But first, let me show you how it looks like for a different user who has no permissions on this workspace. I'll log in now as a user called Rehan. And here you can see that for this user, no workspace is showing, right? So now let's go back to this Trango user tab. I'll go to identity and access, and I'll create a new group. I'll call it demo contributors. And in this group, I'll add two users, Trango, which is the current user, and Rehan, which is opened in the other tab. And what I'll do is that for this group, I'll assign it permissions on the workspace. So I'll select the demo contributors, and I'll give it the contributor role on this workspace. Now this has been added. I'll go to the other window where I'm logged in as the user called Rehan. You can see it on the left side. And if I refresh here now, you will see that the workspace is now visible to this user. I can also view who else has permissions over here, but I cannot add any more permissions over here because I'm not the owner of this workspace.